welcome into the Solano College studio. I'm Zack Poff. Now, it's the best time of the year, baby. It is time to fill out those brackets. It is March Madness time. Now, hey, with that, let's go ahead and bring out the South bracket. We'll start there first, baby. Now, when you look over my shoulder to the right, you got the #1 overall seed, Kansas. This team is absolutely loaded with some of the best PTPers in the business. And now looking at the other part of this bracket, they're going to have no problem with Austin Peay. Let's not even joke around. But Colorado and UConn is going to be a big-time game with Colorado. You got one of the best big men in the business with Josh Scott. And UConn, we saw their heroics as they won the AAC tournament. And it all started with Jalen Adams hitting that 70-foot bucket to send it to a fourth overtime. But I don't see either one of those teams giving Kansas any type of trouble. Now, we move to the bottom half of that top part, Maryland, South Dakota State. Now, South Dakota State is a very, very good squad, probably a team a lot of people don't know about, but they could give Maryland a lot of trouble because Maryland does turn the rock over a lot. Now, the last matchup in the top half, you got Cal against Hawaii. I love Cal, man. Outside of North Carolina, they might be the most talented team in the entire field, but they're young, so we'll have to see where that goes. Now, I love Kansas, though, in the top half of that bracket. I don't really see anybody giving them trouble. Cal is the one team, though. If they are playing at their best capabilities, they have a chance to really pull off the upset here. So, hey, let's go ahead and move to the bottom part of the bracket. Now, this is tough because you got Arizona, Vanderbilt, Wichita State. That's the playing game, and that's a big-time game. You got Ron Baker. It seems like he's been at Wichita for at least 5 years, and Fred VanVleet. This kid's game is big-time. Also, you got Miami versus Buffalo, Iowa versus Temple, and Villanova versus UNC Asheville. Now, I love Arizona making it all the way to the Elite Eight and meeting up with Kansas for the right to win the South. Miami's a very good squad, too, very veteran, and they got a lot of leaders and senior leadership on that squad. So they're a team that could do very well. And I love it, man. Temple versus Villanova, second round, all Philly matchup right there. I love that matchup going forward. And I tell you what, Temple is the sleeper in this part of the bracket. I like Temple making it all the way to the Sweet 16, but they're going to run into the boys out in Arizona. I love Arizona versus Kansas in the South for the Elite Eight. Now, hey, let's go ahead and move to the Midwest bracket now and see what's cracking there. Well, now we got the Midwest bracket pulled up, and you see up top there, we got Virginia as the #1 seed. And Virginia, man, they're big time. Malcolm Brogdon, one of the best PTPers in all of college basketball. But I feel like they should have been a #2 seed, didn't win the ACC conference tournament. I feel they got a little bit of love getting that 1 seed, but they had a really big-time season. Now, the 8-9 matchup, this game is really 50-50. You got Texas Tech, a team that has beaten some of the best teams in the Big 12 against Butler. Now, Butler, we know, have been down this road before. I mean, they're really the Cinderella stories, but they don't have Shelvin Mack and Gordon Hayward with them balling. So I don't really see them doing much. I like Texas Tech in that 8-9. Now, Purdue is a team that is very scary for Virginia here in the top half of the Midwest. They got the Twin Towers. They're basically the Spurs of college basketball. A.J. Hammonds is a big-time baller. Iowa State, Iona. Now, this is a game to circle for upset alert. Iona, a team that has kind of flown under the radar, but when they beat Monmouth to win the conference tournament and clinch their seat in the NCAA tournament, this team is just very confident right now. Iowa State, maybe one of the most talented teams, but they really haven't figured out the chemistry there. So this could be a big-time upset here in that 13-4 matchup. I like Virginia a ton here, though, in the top half of the Midwest to get to the Elite Eight. Purdue is the one team that has the talent to beat them, but I don't see it happening. I love Virginia here in the top half of the Midwest. Hey, let's go ahead and move down to the bottom half of the Midwest. You got Seton Hall and Gonzaga, a big-time 6 versus 11 matchup. I feel Seton Hall kind of got overlooked a little bit. They won the Big East Conference Tournament. They took down Xavier and Villanova, 2 #2 seeds in this field. And what do they get? They get the ball against Gonzaga, a team that's got a big-time player inside with Sabonis and Kyle Wiltshire, one of the best scorers in all of college basketball. And then in the other matchup here, you got Utah, the 3 seed, versus Fresno State, the 14. Now, Fresno State showed they are big-time when they took down San Diego State in the Mountain West Conference Tournament Final. And they could give Utah potentially a scare. But Jacob Poeltl, man, this kid is big-time. Now, a lot of people say he's kind of like Andrew Bogut, a big-time Australian talent, and he will be a top 10, 15 pick when he does decide to enter the draft. Now, when you look at the last 2 matchups here in the bottom half of the Midwest, You got Dayton versus Syracuse in the 7-10. I don't even know if Syracuse should have been in the field, but they did produce 5 wins against the RPI top 50. And Dayton, though, this team is big time. Archie Miller, the younger brother of Sean Miller, the coach at Arizona, is the head man there, and he's done a big-time job with the Dayton Flyers. The last matchup here, Michigan State, Middle Tennessee. Not even going to waste my time. Michigan State all day. Now, a couple of teams that could give Michigan State a big-time scare is Seton Hall, the 6th seed, and then Utah, the number 3 seed. But I don't see it happening, baby. I got Michigan State versus Virginia here in the Midwest. You're going to have to stay tuned to find out who I got winning that one to go to the Final Four. With that, we're going to go and take a quick break here with the Solano College Sports Network. And we are back. Now, hey, it's time to go to the East Coast, baby. We are going to check out the East bracket. Man, North Carolina, the 1 seed. Now, this top half is absolutely stacked. You got Kentucky, the 4 seed. I still can't believe how they're a 4 seed. This team is as talented as any 1 or 2 seed in the field. They got a dynamic backcourt with my man Tyler Eulis. Reminds me a ton of Chris Paul and Jamal Murray. This kid can get buckets like anyone out there. He's not Andrew Wiggins, but a big-time guy that can score the rock from Canada. So, hey, I'm going to call him Andrew Wiggins 2.0. Now, Providence SC, that's a big-time game. Chris Dunn might be the best player overall in this side of the bracket, but the thing with them is chemistry hasn't been there. SC Providence, kind of the same story with those, so I don't see either one of those teams really giving Carolina any type of trouble. I've got Carolina going to the Sweet 16. Whew, get your popcorn ready for this one. Indiana, Kentucky, potentially here in the second round. Now, it's a big-time rivalry in college basketball, and if that game happens, that's going to be must-watch TV. Now, I feel the winner of the Carolina versus Indiana, Kentucky winner will represent the East in the Final Four. These teams are just absolutely loaded. I think it's going to be Kentucky and Carolina, though, in the Sweet 16. I like Carolina edging out Kentucky because of Bryce Johnson and Kennedy Meeks and their guys inside. I think that will be the biggest difference in that one. Hey, let's move to the bottom part of the East bracket. You got Notre Dame versus the winner of Michigan versus Tulsa, West Virginia versus Stephen F. Austin. Wisconsin-Pittsburgh is going to be a big-time game. I love Wisconsin in that one, though. And Xavier and Damian Lillard's alma mater, Weber State. I like Xavier, though. Now, I tell you what, I think it's upset city if Michigan beats Tulsa on Wednesday night. I like them to go ahead and beat Notre Dame in that one. And West Virginia, they're a very good team. They're just gritty, defensive, force a ton of turnovers. They got some playmakers. Devin Williams inside. We saw what he did against Kansas in the Big 12 championship game out of Montford Academy, one of the best high school basketball programs in the country. Oh, man, this is a tough one, but I think Xavier is going to find a way to make it all the way to the Elite Eight and meet up with North Carolina. Now, hey, we got one bracket left, so let's go back to Cali and head out to the West Coast. Now, you see here, the Oregon Ducks from the Pac-12 ended up getting a 1 seed, which kind of surprised a lot of people. Everybody thought Michigan State was going to get it after they won the Big Ten championship. But I tell you what, the committee got that one right. The Oregon Ducks won the Pac-12 regular season conference, and they went down and beat Utah by 30 in the Pac-12 championship game. Oregon deserves that number 1 seed. And I tell you what, you didn't see my guy Dylan Brooks out there hooping. This kid is one of the best scorers in all college basketball, and they're loaded with some other PT peers. Tyler Dorsey, a kid from the Southern California area, is big time for him. Elgin Cook, also one of the best all-around players, and Oregon deserved that number 1 seed. They're taking on Holy Cross. Holy Cross better start praying now because things are not going to go well for Holy Cross. Now, St. Joe's and Cincinnati in that 8-9 matchup, it's going to be just an ugly game. It's going to be just gritty, kind of old school Big East, but neither one of those teams really going to give Oregon trouble, I believe. Baylor-Yale. Now, a lot of people talk about that 5-12 matchup, upset city. This could be it. I mean, Yale is a team that has played well all season long. Baylor, on the other hand, they have shown inconsistencies at times, but Baylor is absolutely loaded with some talent. I like Baylor in that one to squeak by. Duke, UNCW, North Carolina, Wilmington. I love Duke in this one. Brandon Ingram is the second best freshman in the country because Ben Simmons, who isn't in the NCAA tournament, is one of the top 5 players in college basketball. And I know my man in the back, Big Kahuna, Greg Poff, is hoping the Lakers can draft him with the #1 pick. Now, I love Oregon in this one. I love them going all the way to the Elite Eight. I think they're going to have a matchup with Baylor in the Elite Eight. Now, I hope your eyes aren't great, because if you watch these two teams play, it's going to be like watching a highlighter out there. Two of the ugliest jerseys and brightest in all of college basketball. So, hey, let's go ahead and move to the bottom half of the West, though. You got Texas versus Northern Iowa, A&M versus Green Bay. I see the all-Texas matchup going down in the round of 32. Texas versus Texas A&M. And the bottom half, you got Oregon State. Now, mad props to Oregon State. First time in the tournament since 1991, and back when Gary Payton was there. And now you've got Gary Payton II getting Oregon State back to the tournament. So kind of a cool story there. I like VCU in the upset, though, in that 10-7 game. Oklahoma versus Cal State Bakersfield. Give me Buddy Hield all day. The Sooners are big time. Buddy Hield, maybe the best player in the country, him or Denzel Valentine. It's like 1A and 1B. Now, with this bracket, I like Texas A&M meeting up with Oklahoma in the Sweet 16. Give me Buddy Hield all day. So I've got an Oklahoma versus Oregon matchup. So get your popcorn ready, and we will be right back to find out who I have in the Final Four.
Hi, everybody. Greg Poff here in the Solano College Sports Network studio to tell you about a great opportunity here at Solano Community College, where we are the only college in the nation to have our own sports broadcasting program. So if you're interested in a career in sports broadcasting, Solano Community College is the place for you. And we offer students training in all aspects of sports broadcasting, whether it's behind the microphone, using a camera, or learning to operate our state-of-the-art TV production system in our newly renovated TV studio, or out in the field covering an actual live Solano Community College sports event. At SCC, our sports broadcasting program is responsible for providing broadcasts of Solano sports events and creating shows to be telecast on Fairfield's Channel 28, as well as webcasts on our Solano College Sports Network YouTube channel and our Facebook page. So if you're interested in taking one of our sports broadcasting courses, you will find them listed in the SCC schedule of classes each and every semester under Communication Studies. Also, by the end of this spring semester, we will have a certificated program in place where you can earn a certificate in the field of sports broadcasting that has you ready and prepared for an entry-level position in that particular career. So come on over, check us out. You can find us in the TV studio in room 121 on the main campus at Solano Community College in Fairfield, California. And remember, here at Solano College Sports Network, it's more than just sports.
It's an education.
All right, baby. It is that time. It is time for the Final Four. Now, we'll go ahead and start with the left side of the bracket first. Oh, boy, going with Kansas, Oklahoma, two teams from the Big 12. Now, before I make this pick in this matchup to get to the national championship, my guy Money Mike is going to be happy that I'm doing this. And people that listen to me probably won't be happy, but it's time, baby. Let me get out of my back pocket, get rid of that one. Voila. The ZPC, the Zack Poff curse. Now, all my boys know what this is. When I pick teams, they usually lose, but I'm going with Oklahoma. I just love the way Buddy Hield plays basketball, and more than not, when Oklahoma's out there, he is going to be the best player on the floor. This team can shoot the three ball, and they got some big guys inside, Spangler and Kadeem Lattin. This is a very good team. I just love the way Buddy Hield is playing. Now, on the other side of things, I'm going Petey Pablo. Time to raise up North Carolina. I like them against Mr. Valentine's Spartans from Michigan State. Michigan State, there's only two other players that have done what Denzel Valentine has done, and that's post more than one triple-double wearing a Spartans uniform. The other two, not sure if you heard of them, some guy named Magic Johnson and the other one doing work right now with the Golden State Warriors, Draymond Green. But it ends here for Michigan State. I love North Carolina in this one. North Carolina versus Oklahoma. Oh boy, this is a tough one. North Carolina, though, too stacked for Oklahoma. Go ahead and throw Oklahoma off the board. I love North Carolina winning the national championship here in 2016. So remember, don't pick Carolina, baby. That's all the time we got. This has been the March Madness Show. I'm Zack Poff here with the Solano College Sports Network.